The knock came at 9:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. 3 sharp raps that cut through the sound of the dishwasher and the TV my wife was pretending to watch. I opened the door to find a woman I'd never seen before. Mid-30s, blonde hair pulled back tight, eyes red like she'd been crying for hours. In her hands was a manila folder so thick it looked like a phone book. "Are you Nathan?" she asked, voice shaking. "Yeah, can I help you?" She didn't answer right away, just looked past me into the house where my wife Lisa had appeared in the hallway, face going pale. "You're Lisa," the woman said. Not a question, an accusation. Lisa's voice came out small. "Who are you?" The woman's laugh was bitter, broken. "I'm Claire, and I think we need to talk about my husband." She opened the folder. The first photo slid out and hit the porch light. My wife, a man I'd never seen, a restaurant I recognized, his hand on her thigh under the table. The timestamp read March 14, 7:43 p.m., the same night Lisa told me she was working late. Claire's voice cracked. "That's my husband, David, and according to this," she held up the folder like evidence in a trial, "he's been fucking your wife for 8 months. Behind me, Lisa made a sound like she'd been punched. Claire looked at me with eyes that had seen the same hell I was about to enter. "I have 847 text messages, hotel receipts, GPS logs from his car, Venmo transactions, and a timeline that matches every single night your wife said she was out with the girls." She thrust the folder into my hands. "I spent 6 weeks building this case, and now I'm giving it to you, because we deserve better than this. If you want to know what was in that folder and what I did with it, hit subscribe, because what happened next destroyed 2 marriages and exposed a lie so elaborate it had its own paper trail. My name is Nathan Cross. I'm 39 years old, and I live in Austin, Texas. I'm a systems engineer for a tech company downtown. I work from home 3 days a week, go into the office 2 days, and I've been doing the same routine for 7 years. My life is predictable. I like it that way. Wake up at 6:30, coffee, emails, stand-up meeting at 9, lunch at my desk, dinner with my wife, TV, bed by 11. Boring? Maybe. But boring felt safe. My wife, Lisa, is a marketing director for a healthcare startup. She's ambitious, driven, the kind of person who answers emails at midnight and takes calls during dinner. We've been married for 6 years, together for 9. No kids yet, we'd been talking about it, but the timing never felt right. "Let me get this promotion first, then we'll start trying," she'd say. I believed her. I believed a lot of things. The name David Keller first came up about 8 months ago. Lisa mentioned him casually one night while we were making dinner. "There's a new guy at work," she said, chopping vegetables. "David, he's heading up the rebrand project." "Cool," I said, not really listening. "He's really smart. Used to work at Google. He's got some great ideas." "That's good." She kept talking about him, little mentions here and there. David suggested this new approach to our Q3 campaign. David and I grabbed lunch to go over the deck. David thinks we should pivot our messaging. After a while, I noticed the pattern, but I didn't say anything, because I'm not that guy. I'm not the jealous husband who freaks out every time his wife mentions a male coworker. I trusted her. That was my first mistake. The late nights started in February. "I have to stay late to finish this presentation," she'd text. "David and I are working through the strategy. Don't wait up. Team dinner tonight. I'll be home by 10. Except 10 became 11, then midnight, then 1 a.m., and when she came home, she'd smell like wine and expensive cologne that wasn't mine. "How was dinner?" I'd ask. "Fine, exhausting. I'm going to bed." No details, no stories, just exhaustion and distance. I told myself it was work stress, that she was grinding for that promotion, but deep down, in that place men don't like to admit exists, I knew something was wrong. I started paying attention. Not in an obsessive way, just noticing. The way she'd take her phone into the bathroom now.
The way she'd angle her screen away from me when we were on the couch. The way she'd started dressing differently for work. Tighter clothes, more makeup, perfume I'd never smelled before. "You look nice," I'd say. "Thanks, big presentation today." But the presentations were happening 3 times a week now. One night in March, I asked her directly, "Is everything okay with us?" She looked up from her phone, surprised. "What? Yeah, why?" "I don't know, you just seem distant." "I'm not distant, I'm busy. There's a difference." "I know, but Nathan, I'm exhausted. Can we not do this right now?" She went back to her phone. I went back to pretending everything was fine. The girls' nights started in April. "I'm going out with Sarah and Jen tonight. We need to blow off steam." "Okay, have fun." She'd leave at 7, come home at 1 a.m., makeup smudged, hair messy, smelling like alcohol and lies. "How was it?" I'd ask the next morning. "Good. We went to that new place on 6th Street. Except when I casually mentioned it to Sarah at a barbecue 2 weeks later, she looked confused. "What new place?" "The one you guys went to. Lisa said you had a great time." Sarah's face went blank. "Oh, yeah, that place. It was fine." She changed the subject fast. Too fast. That's when I knew. Not suspected. Knew.
I didn't confront Lisa. Not yet. Instead, I started documenting. I'm a systems engineer. I think in data, in patterns, in proof. So I built a spreadsheet. Column A, date. Column B, Lisa's stated reason for being out. Column C, time she left. Column D, time she returned. Column E, observations, smell, behavior, phone activity. I tracked it for 6 weeks, and the pattern was undeniable. Every late work night fell on a Tuesday or Thursday. Every girls' night was a Friday. Every time she came home after midnight, she'd shower immediately, even if she claimed she was too tired. The data didn't lie, but I needed more than a spreadsheet. I needed proof. That's when I made a decision I'm not proud of. I installed a tracking app on her phone. I know how that sounds. Invasion of privacy, controlling husband, all of it. But here's the thing. I wasn't trying to control her. I was trying to confirm what my gut had been screaming for months. The app was simple. It ran in the background, tracked GPS location, nothing invasive, no texts, no calls, no photos, just location data. I installed it on a Sunday morning while she was in the shower. Took me 90 seconds. And then I waited. The first ping came that Tuesday. Lisa left for work at 8:30 a.m. Her location showed her at the office, normal. At 12:15 p.m. she moved, not to a restaurant near the office, to a hotel, the Fairmont, downtown Austin. She stayed there for 2 hours. At 2:47 p.m. she returned to the office. At 6:30 p.m. she texted me, "Working late tonight, don't wait up." Her location didn't move until 10:15 p.m. Then it went back to the Fairmont. She stayed until 12:40 a.m. When she came home at 1:10 a.m., she kissed me on the forehead and said, "Sorry, babe, crazy day." I said nothing, just added the data to my spreadsheet. Over the next 3 weeks, the pattern repeated. Tuesday, Fairmont Hotel, 12 to 2 p.m. Thursday, Fairmont Hotel, 12 to 2 p.m. Friday, a bar on Rainey Street, 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. Every single time, her stated reason didn't match her location. Working late meant hotel. Girls' night meant bar. But Sarah and Jen were never there. I'd checked their social media. They were posting from completely different places. Lisa wasn't just lying. She was living a double life. And I was watching it happen in real time. I didn't sleep much during those weeks. I'd lie in bed next to her, listening to her breathe, and wonder who she was texting in the bathroom at 11 p.m. I'd watch her get dressed in the morning and wonder if she was choosing that outfit for me or for him. I'd kiss her goodbye and wonder if she'd be in a hotel bed with another man in 4 hours. The worst part wasn't the betrayal.
It was the performance. She'd come home, smile, ask about my day, and act like everything was normal, like she hadn't just spent 2 hours fucking someone else.
The cognitive dissonance was suffocating. I thought about confronting her 100 times, but every time I got close, I'd stop, because I knew what would happen. She'd deny it. She'd gaslight me. She'd say I was paranoid, controlling, crazy. She'd flip it around and make me the bad guy. I'd seen it happen to friends, to coworkers. The cheater always has an excuse, always has a story. And without proof, real, undeniable proof, I'd be the one who looked insane. So I waited, and I collected data. Then came the knock on the door. 9:47 p.m., Tuesday, May 16th. I was loading the dishwasher. Lisa was on the couch, scrolling her phone, half watching some reality show. 3 sharp knocks. I opened the door, and there she was, Claire Keller. I didn't know her name yet, didn't know who she was, but I knew from the look on her face that she was about to change my life. "Are you Nathan?" she asked. Her voice was shaking. Her eyes were red and swollen. She looked like she'd been crying for days. "Yeah, can I help you?" She looked past me, into the house. "Is your wife home?" That's when Lisa appeared in the hallway. "Who is it?" she called. Claire's face hardened. "You're Lisa." Lisa froze. "Who are you?" Claire's laugh was sharp, bitter. "I'm Claire, David's wife." The air left the room. Lisa's face went white. I don't, Claire interrupted. "Don't you dare lie to me right now." She held up the folder, thick, bulging with papers. "I know everything." Claire stepped into the house without being invited. Lisa backed up. "Claire, Shut up," Claire said, voice cold. "You don't get to talk yet." She turned to me. "Nathan, right?" I nodded, still processing. "I'm sorry you're finding out this way, but you deserve to know the truth." She opened the folder. Photos spilled out onto the coffee table. Lisa and a man I'd never seen. Dark hair, expensive suit, smug smile. They were at a restaurant, his hand on her thigh. Another photo, same restaurant, different night. They were kissing. Another. Dozens of them. Timestamps, locations, dates going back 8 months. I felt like I was watching a car crash in slow motion. Claire kept pulling papers out. "Text messages," she said, dropping a stack on the table. 847 of them. I printed every single one. I picked up the top page. "David, I can't stop thinking about you." Lisa, "Same. When can I see you again?" David, "Thursday, usual place?" Lisa, "Perfect. I'll tell Nathan I'm working late." My hands started shaking. Claire continued. "Hotel receipts, Fairmont mostly, but also the W and that boutique place on South Congress." She dropped another stack. "Venmo transactions. He paid for dinners, she paid for drinks. They tried to be careful, but they weren't careful enough." Another stack. "GPS data from his car. I tracked him for 6 weeks. Every location matches a work event or client meeting he told me about." She looked at Lisa, who was standing frozen in the hallway, tears streaming down her face. "You want to know the worst part?" Claire's voice cracked. "I'm pregnant. 4 months." The room went silent. "I'm carrying his child, and he's been fucking you in hotel rooms while I'm at home planning a nursery." I couldn't speak, couldn't move. Claire turned back to me. "I found out 3 weeks ago. I hired a private investigator. Cost me $8,000, but I needed proof because David's a liar, and I knew if I confronted him without evidence, he'd twist it around." She tapped the folder. "This is 6 weeks of surveillance. Photos, videos, financial records, phone logs, everything."
I confronted him 2 days ago, showed him everything. He tried to deny it at first, then he tried to minimize it. It didn't mean anything. It was just physical. I love you, not her." Her voice turned to ice. "I kicked him out, filed for divorce yesterday, and now I'm here because you deserve to know what I know." She looked at Lisa. "And you deserve to face what you've done." Lisa finally found her voice. "Claire, I'm so sorry. I never meant—" "You never meant what?" Claire snapped. "You never meant to fuck my husband? You never meant to help him lie to me for 8 months? You never meant to destroy my family?" "I didn't know you were pregnant. Would it have mattered? Would you have stopped if you'd known?" Lisa didn't answer. Claire turned to me. "I'm giving you this." She pushed the folder into my hands. "Everything's in there, organized by date. I made copies, one for you, one for my lawyer, one for me." "Why?" I asked, voice barely working. "Because we are the victims here, and we deserve to have the truth, all of it." She headed for the door, then stopped, looked back at Lisa. "I hope it was worth it." And then she was gone. The door closed. The silence that followed was deafening. I stood there, holding the folder, staring at my wife. Lisa was crying, mascara running, hands shaking. "Nathan, please, let me explain." "Explain?" My voice didn't sound like mine. "Explain what? The 847 text messages? The hotel receipts? The 8 months of lying to my face?" It wasn't like that." "Then what was it like?" I set the folder down on a coffee table. "Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you've been fucking another man for 8 months, while I sat here like an idiot believing every lie you told me." "I didn't mean for it to happen, but it did happen, over and over for 8 months. She reached for me. I stepped back. "Don't touch me."
I picked up the folder and started going through it. Every page was a knife. Text messages where she called him baby, photos of them holding hands, a receipt from a jewelry store. He'd bought her a bracelet, $800. I'd never seen her wear it. "Where's the bracelet?" I asked. "What?" "The bracelet, the one he bought you in March. Where is it?" Her face crumpled. I returned it." "When?" "Last week." "Why?" "Because I was going to end it," she whispered. "I swear I was going to end it." I laughed. It came out harsh, broken. "You were going to end it. When? After another month? Another year?" "I didn't know how." "You didn't know how to stop fucking him?" My voice rose. "It's pretty simple, Lisa. You just stop. You stop texting him. You stop meeting him at hotels. You stop lying to me." She sobbed. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." "Sorry you did it, or sorry you got caught?" She didn't answer. That told me everything. I spent that night in a hotel. Not the Fairmont. I couldn't stomach the idea of staying in the same place she'd been with him. I checked into a Holiday Inn off I-35 and sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the folder. 847 text messages. I started reading. Every message was worse than the last. The way she talked to him, the things she said, the plans they made. "Lisa, I wish I could wake up next to you every morning." "David, soon, I promise." "Lisa, how much longer do we have to keep pretending?" "David, not long, I'm working on it." They were planning a future. While I was at home, working, paying bills, believing we were building a life together, she was planning to leave me for him. I didn't sleep that night. I read every text message, looked at every photo, studied every receipt. Claire had been thorough, obsessively thorough. She'd built a timeline that was impossible to deny. Every work event Lisa claimed to attend matched a hotel check-in. Every girls' night matched a bar receipt where she'd split the bill with David. Every lie had a timestamp. By 4 a.m., I'd read it all, and I'd made a decision. I called a lawyer at 8 a.m. His name was Richard Moss. A friend of a friend had recommended him. Bulldog in the courtroom, they'd said. Doesn't lose. I met him at his office at 10. I brought the folder. Richard went through it methodically. Didn't react, didn't comment, just read. After 30 minutes, he looked up. "This is the most well-documented affair I've ever seen." "Claire did all the work," I said. "I just have the copies." "She's smart. This is admissible. All of it." "What does that mean?" "It means in Texas, we're a fault-based divorce state. Adultery is grounds, and with this evidence, you've got an airtight case." He leaned back. "You could go for a contested divorce, ask for a disproportionate share of assets. She'd have a hard time fighting it." "What about alimony?" "She makes more than you, right?" "Yeah, about 20% more." "Then she won't get alimony. In fact, you could ask for it." I blinked. "Seriously?" "Seriously. You're the wronged party. She committed adultery. The court tends to favor the faithful spouse." For the first time in 12 hours, I felt something other than pain. I felt power. Richard walked me through the process. File a petition, serve her papers, discovery, mediation, trial if necessary. "But here's my advice," he said. "Use this evidence as leverage. Most people don't want their affair details aired in open court. Offer her a clean split if she agrees to your terms." "What terms?" "You keep the house. She takes her car, her retirement accounts, and walks away. No alimony, no fighting." "And if she refuses?" "Then we go to trial, and we make sure every detail of this affair becomes public record." I thought about that. About Lisa's career, her reputation, her family. About how much she'd lose if this went public. "Let's start with the offer," I said, "but I want her to know what happens if she fights me." Richard smiled. "I can work with that." I went home that afternoon. Lisa was there. She'd clearly been crying. The house was a mess, tissues everywhere. "Nathan," she said the second I walked in, "please, we need to talk." "We do," I agreed. I set my bag down, but not the way you think. I pulled out the divorce papers Richard had drawn up. Her face went white. You're filing?" "I already filed. These are your copies." She took them with shaking hands, started reading. "Nathan, please, don't do this. We can fix this. Counseling, therapy, whatever you want." "I don't want therapy," I said. "I want a divorce." "But, Lisa, you fucked another man for 8 months. You lied to me every single day. You made plans to leave me. This isn't fixable." She dropped the papers. "I wasn't going to leave you, I swear. It was just what? Just fun? Just physical? Just a mistake that lasted 240 days? She had no answer. I picked up the papers and set them on the table. "You have 2 options. Sign these, agree to the terms, walk away clean. Or we go to trial, and every text message, every photo, every hotel receipt becomes public record. Your family will know. Your co-workers will know. Everyone will know." Her face crumpled. "You wouldn't. Try me." She signed the papers 3 days later. No fight, no negotiation, just a signature and a quiet exit. I kept the house, she took her car and her retirement accounts. No alimony, no drama. Clean break. The divorce was finalized in 60 days, fastest I'd ever heard of. I ran into Claire a few weeks after everything was final. She was at a coffee shop near my office, pregnant belly showing now. "Nathan," she said, surprised. "Claire, how are you?" She smiled, tired but real. "Better. The divorce is almost done. David's, well, he's David, but I'm moving forward." "Good. How about you?" "Same. Moving forward." We stood there for a moment, 2 people who'd been through the same hell. "Thank you," I said, "for knocking on my door, for giving me the truth." "You deserved it," she said simply. "We both did."
She touched her belly. "I'm having a girl. Congratulations." "Thanks. I'm terrified, but also excited, like this is a fresh start." "It is," I said. She smiled. "Take care of yourself, Nathan." "You too." She walked away, and I realized something. Claire had lost a husband, but she'd gained her dignity, and so had I. 6 months later, I sold the house. Too many memories, too many ghosts. I bought a condo downtown, smaller, simpler, mine. I started running again, joined a gym, reconnected with friends I'd lost touch with. Slowly, I started to feel like myself again. One night, I was at a bar with some coworkers, just a casual Friday thing. A woman sat down next to me, red hair, bright smile. "Is this seat taken?" "It's yours," I said. Her name was Emma. She was a graphic designer, funny, smart, easy to talk to. We talked for 2 hours. At the end of the night, she gave me her number. "Call me sometime," she said. I did. I'm not going to pretend everything's perfect now. I still have bad days, days where I wonder what I did wrong, days where I replay the last 8 months and look for signs I missed. But those days are getting fewer, because I learned something through all of this. You can't control other people's choices. You can only control your response. Lisa chose to cheat, to lie, to betray me. I chose to face the truth, to protect myself, to walk away with my dignity intact, and that choice made all the difference. If you've been there, if you've ever heard, "He's just a friend," or "You're being paranoid," or "It's not what you think," this one's for you. Trust your gut, document everything, and don't be afraid to walk away from someone who doesn't respect you, because the truth always comes out. Sometimes it knocks on your door at 9:47 p.m. with a folder full of proof, and when it does, you have a choice. You can ignore it, or you can face it. I faced it, and I'm better for it. Hit subscribe if this story resonated. Comment, "I faced it," if you've been through something similar, because respect isn't negotiable, and neither is the truth.